You're finally ready to start investing, and everyone keeps telling you to buy index funds or ETFs. But when you try to figure out the difference, you get a dozen confusing explanations that make your head spin. Some people swear by index funds, while others say ETFs are better. And you're stuck in the middle wondering if there's even a real difference or if people are just arguing about basically the same thing. You're afraid of making the wrong choice and missing out on returns or paying fees you didn't need to pay. So you end up doing nothing, paralyzed by this decision that seems more complicated than it should be. Here's the truth that's going to save you weeks of confusion. Index funds and ETFs are way more similar than they are different. And for most beginners, the choice between them matters way less than you think. But there are a few key differences that can affect your returns and experience. And today I'm going to break down everything you need to know in plain English so you can make the right choice for your situation and finally start investing. Let's start by understanding what these things actually are, because that's where most of the confusion begins. An index fund is a type of mutual fund that tracks a market index like the S&P 500. What does that mean in real terms? It means the fund automatically owns all the stocks in that index in the same proportions. So if you buy an S&P 500 index fund, you own tiny pieces of all 500 companies in that index. You're not picking stocks. You're just buying the whole market, or at least a big chunk of it. The fund is managed by a company like Vanguard or Fidelity, and they make sure the fund matches the index it's tracking. Index funds have been around since the 1970s, and they revolutionized investing by making it easy and cheap for regular people to own diversified portfolios. Now, an ETF, which stands for Exchange Traded Fund, is very similar but with one key difference in how it trades. An ETF also holds a basket of stocks, and many ETFs are index funds, meaning they track the same indices like the S&P 500. But unlike traditional index funds, that you buy directly from the fund company at the end of the trading day, ETFs trade on stock exchanges just like individual stocks. You can buy and sell them throughout the day at whatever the current market price is. Think of it this way. A traditional index fund is like ordering something from a catalog where the price is set at the end of the day, and that's what you pay. An ETF is like buying something at a store where the price changes throughout the day, and you pay whatever it costs at the moment you buy it. Here's where it gets a little confusing for beginners. Most ETFs are index funds, but not all index funds are ETFs. You can have an index fund that's structured as a traditional mutual fund, like Vanguard's VFIAX, which tracks the S&P 500. Or you can have an index fund that's structured as an ETF, like Vanguard's VO, which also tracks the S&P 500. They're both index funds tracking the same thing, but one is a mutual fund and one is an ETF. The content is basically the same, but the wrapper is different. This is why people get confused and think they're totally different things, when really they're just different versions of the same basic concept. So what are the actual differences that matter? Let's start with how you buy them. Traditional index funds are purchased directly through the fund company, like Vanguard or Fidelity. You set up an account with them, transfer money, and buy shares of the fund. The price you pay is called the net asset value, or NAV, and it's calculated once per day after the market closes. So if you place an order to buy $1,000 worth of an index fund at 2 in the afternoon, your order won't actually execute until after the market closes at 4. You'll get whatever price the fund is worth at that moment. With ETFs, you buy them through any brokerage account, just like you'd buy a stock. You can place an order at 10 in the morning, and it'll execute immediately at whatever the ETF is trading for at that exact moment. The price fluctuates throughout the day based on supply and demand. For most long-term investors, this difference doesn't actually matter much. If you're investing for retirement and planning to hold for decades, whether you bought at 2 in the afternoon or 4 in the evening on any given day is irrelevant. The tiny price differences throughout a single day wash out over time. But there are some cases where it matters. If you want to buy or sell at a specific price, ETFs give you that control. You can place what's called a limit order, where you say, I want to buy this ETF, but only if the price is below a certain amount. With traditional index funds, you don't have that option. You get whatever price it is at the end of the day. Another difference is investment minimums. Traditional index funds often have minimum investment amounts. For example, Vanguard's traditional S&P 500 index fund, VFIAX, requires a $3,000 minimum to start. If you don't have $3,000, you can't buy it. ETFs, on the other hand, usually don't have minimums beyond the price of one share. If VU is trading at $400 per share, technically, you need $400 to buy one share. But here's where it gets better. Many brokerages now offer fractional shares for ETFs, which means you can buy a piece of a share with as little as $1. So the ETF version might actually be more accessible for beginners who don't have thousands of dollars to start with. Let's talk about fees, because this is super important. It can cost you thousands over your lifetime if you're not careful. Both index funds and ETFs charge what's called an expense ratio, which is an annual fee for managing the fund. The good news is that index funds and ETFs that track the same index usually have nearly identical expense ratios. For example, Vanguard's traditional S&P 500 index fund and their S&P 500 ETF. Both charge about 0.03% per year, which is incredibly low. On a $10,000 investment, that's $3 per year. Some funds from other companies might charge a bit more or a bit less. But if you're comparing index funds and ETFs from the same company, tracking the same index, the fees are usually the same or very close. So in terms of ongoing costs, there's typically no advantage to one over the other. However, there can be differences in trading costs. Traditional index funds don't have trading commissions because you buy them directly from the fund company. But some brokerages use to charge commissions to buy or sell ETFs. The good news is that most major brokerages, including Fidelity, Schwab, and Vanguard, have eliminated commissions on ETF trades, so this isn't the issue it used to be. But it's still worth checking with your specific brokerage to make sure you're not paying fees to trade ETFs. One advantage that ETFs have is something called tax efficiency. And this can matter if you're investing in a regular taxable account rather than a retirement account like an IRA. Without getting too deep into the weeds, the way ETFs are structured allows them to avoid distributing capital gains to shareholders in most cases. Traditional mutual funds, including index funds, sometimes have to distribute capital gains, which creates a tax bill for you, even if you didn't sell anything. This usually isn't a huge deal with index funds because they don't trade much, but it can happen. ETFs are generally more tax efficient, and this can save you some money on taxes over the long run. However, if you're investing inside a retirement account like a Roth IRA or a 401k, this doesn't matter at all because you're not paying taxes annually on gains anyway. Let me talk about automatic investing, because this is a big practical difference that affects how people actually use these investments. With traditional index funds, it's really easy to set up automatic investments where a certain amount of money gets pulled from your bank, count and invested every month without you doing anything. Let's say you want to invest $300 every month. With a traditional index fund, you just set it up once, and it happens automatically. The fund company buys however many shares $300 will get you, including fractional shares, and you don't have to think about it. This is incredibly powerful for building wealth because it removes the decision-making and keeps you consistent. With ETFs, automatic investing is a bit more complicated. Some brokerages do offer automatic investment plans for ETFs, but it's not as universal or seamless as with traditional index funds. And because ETFs trade like stocks, if your brokerage doesn't offer fractional shares, you might not be able to invest your exact amount every month. If you have $300 and the ETF costs $120 per share, you can only buy 2 shares for $240, leaving $60 uninvested. If your brokerage offers fractional shares for ETFs, this problem goes away and you can invest the full $300. But this is something to check before you decide. So which one should you actually choose as a beginner? Here's my honest take. For most beginners who are investing for long-term goals like retirement and who want to set up automatic monthly investments, traditional index funds are probably slightly easier and more convenient. You don't have to think about fractional shares. Automatic investing is straightforward, and the experience is just simpler. If you're investing through a company like Vanguard or Fidelity, and you meet their minimum investment requirements, go with their traditional index fund version and set up automatic contributions. It's the path of least resistance, and it works beautifully. However, if you're starting with a small amount of money and can't meet the minimums for traditional index funds, ETFs are a great option, especially if your brokerage offers fractional shares. You can start with literally any amount and still invest in the exact same index. Also, if you're investing in a taxable account and you care about tax efficiency, ETFs have a slight edge. And if you're the type of person who wants more control over the exact price you pay or wants to be able to trade throughout the day, ETFs give you that flexibility. But here's the key point I want you to understand. The difference between index funds and ETFs is so small that stressing over this decision is pointless. What matters way more is that you're investing in low-cost index funds of either type, staying consistent and holding for the long term. Whether you own VFIA, X, or VOO, which are Vanguard's traditional index fund and ETF versions of the same S&P 500 fund, we're going to get basically the same results over time. The difference in returns will be measured in fractions of a percent, which over decades might amount to a couple $1,000s difference on a large portfolio. But the difference between investing in either of them versus not investing at all is hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let me give you some real examples to make this concrete. Let's say you're 25 years old and you start investing $300 a month. If you put it in a traditional S&P 500 index fund with a 0.03% expense ratio, and it grows at an average of 8% per year, by the time you're 65, you'd have around $900,000. If you instead invested in an ETF version of the same fund with the same expense ratio and returns, you'd also have around $900,000. The difference would be tiny, maybe a few $1,000s depending on tax efficiency and other minor factors. But if you spent 6 months paralyzed trying to decide between them and didn't invest anything during that time, you'd miss out on growth on those 6 months of contributions. The cost of indecision is way higher than the difference between the two options. Let me address a common misconception. Some people think ETFs are better for active trading, while index funds are better for buy and hold investing. This is sort of true in the sense that ETFs give you the ability to trade throughout the day, which active traders want. But if you're a beginner focused on long-term wealth building, you shouldn't be actively trading anyway. Both index funds and ETFs are designed for buy and hold investing. The whole point of index investing is that you're not trying to time the market or trade frequently. You're buying the market and holding it for years or decades. So don't choose based on which one is better for trading, because as a long-term investor, you shouldn't be trading much at all. Another thing to consider is what your employer offers if you're investing through a workplace retirement plan like a 401k. Most 401k plans only offer traditional mutual funds, including index funds, not ETFs. So if you're investing through your employer's plan, you'll probably be buying traditional index funds regardless. It's perfectly fine. Take advantage of any employer match. Invest in the lowest cost index funds available in your plan, and don't worry about whether they're ETFs or not. Let me also mention that the world of index investing keeps evolving, and the lines between these products are blurring. Some companies are creating new hybrid products that combine features of both. And as more brokerages offer fractional shares and easier automatic investing for ETFs, the practical differences continue to shrink. The trend is toward making both options more accessible and flexible for all investors. Here's what I'd recommend as a simple decision framework. If you're investing in a retirement account and you're setting up automatic monthly contributions, go with a traditional index fund if you can meet the minimum, or an ETF with fractional shares if you can't. If you're investing in a taxable account, lean slightly toward ETFs for tax efficiency. If you're investing through a 401k at work, use whatever index funds they offer. And in all cases, focus on finding the lowest cost option that tracks the index you want, whether it's labeled as an index fund or an ETF. Before we wrap up, I need to remind you that everything in this video is for educational purposes only and not financial advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor and your situation is unique. You should do your own research and consider consulting with a professional before making investment decisions. My goal is to help you understand these options clearly so you can make informed choices, not to tell you exactly what to do. So here's what you need to remember. Index funds and ETFs are more similar than different. Both can be great vehicles for long-term investing. Both offer low costs and diversification. Both give you exposure to the same markets. The differences in how they trade, minimum investments, and tax efficiency are real but relatively small for most beginner investors. Don't get paralyzed trying to pick the perfect one. Just pick a low-cost option from a reputable company. Start investing consistently, and focus on the things that actually matter, like how much you're saving, staying invested during downturns, and giving your money time to compound. Whether you choose an index fund or an ETF, if you're investing in a diversified, low-cost option and holding it for the long term, you're doing it right. If this video cleared up the confusion between index funds and ETFs and helped you feel confident making a decision, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. And if you want to keep learning about investing in a way that's actually clear and practical, subscribe to the channel. In the next video, I'm going to show you the specific index funds and ETFs I recommend for beginners and exactly how to build a simple portfolio with them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.